Canyon bicycles, one of the most popular bicycles I would say in the bike market in today's day and age, mainly because of their insanely low and competitive price points that really do outprice the competition. They charge $6,000 for a bicycle that anywhere else in a retail store should be about $8,000, $9,000. But now, are Canyon bicycles just a hype beast? And when you guys might be asking yourself, Grant, what is a hype beast? A hype beast is kind of just overrated. And the reason why I ask is because, yes, I work in a retail store. Yes, I sell bikes specifically to compete right against this bicycle. And when customers do come into my bicycle store and they start looking at Specialized, Scott, whatever it is, they always seem to bring up Canyon, mainly because of budget. But I would love to know how Canyon would perform in a market if all of a sudden one day Canyon just raised their prices and said, hey, our top tier Aeroad is now $14,000. It's going to compete against the Trek Madone OCLV 800 series. It's going to compete against the S-Works, the Colnagos, the Pinarellos. How much would people still froth over it in terms of like literally just go not so crazy over it if it was the same exact price? Because every single time that whenever I post a video of any kind of bike, it doesn't matter if it's Specialized, Tarmac, Trek, whatever the hell it is, people always sit there and say a Canyon goes for this. A Canyon endurance bike is this. Better bang for your buck is here. And they really just focus on the price point. Some reason in people's minds, they get so fixated on components. They see Ultegra, they see a Dura-Ace group set, they see DT Swiss wheels, they see it slapped onto a bicycle, and they say, hey, everywhere else my brain sees this bicycle being $8,000 and now it's $6,000. And this really does play a part into Canyon's business model. They are a direct to consumer. They cut out the retailer, which is me. They basically take the retailer's margin and they ixnay it and they give that benefit back to the consumer. This leaves a lot of money in the pockets of Canyon because of the fact that they don't have to pay for they don't really have to worry about any kind of really ifs, ands, or buts with retailers in there. But they do get a benefit of selling for a cheaper price point. They also do a really good job of marketing. They give the bikes to some of the best teams in the Grand Tour stages. They give a lot of sponsor athletes in terms of women athletes, triathletes, TT athletes. They do a really, really good job of marketing. Some of the crit races, the Miami Blazers as well. They do a really, really, really good job of marketing. But again, is that marketing really leading up to performance of a bicycle? Are they giving out these crazy wind tunnel numbers? Is it that much better than every other bike out there for the price? Or is it just people are settling for this bicycle because of the fact that they're getting a top tier component on a somewhat decent looking frame in terms of, and they see their pro riders riding it? Let's take, for example, a Chinese brand like WindSpace. If WindSpace was to go out there and create a Tour de France team and they had one of these great athletes on there, let's just say a Mathieu van der Poel, and sponsor Mathieu van der Poel for it, and he starts winning, and people start looking at WindSpace and go, wow, that's crazy. We want to buy that. And then they start selling WindSpaces with Dura-Ace on that for $6,000 or $8,000. Would that have the same effect? That's what I want to know. I don't know what to think of Canyon. These frames look very similar to a bunch of cheaper brands that mass produce them. Their frames do look good, just like every other cheaper brands do look good as well, but they look just very generic. Canyon does push the envelope with innovation. Like, I mean, I'll say this, the handlebar width where you can choose at your desire for 40, 42, or 44. That's awesome. But there is also inconveniences with that. And this also comes down to a play of how the quality is of these bicycles. What's the downside of having this direct to consumer? Is it as good as it says they are? People always sit there and say, I haven't had issues with my bicycles. Every single person who buys a bike from any kind of brand will always have a customer has a great experience with it. But I seem to hear more stories bad with Canyon in terms of getting consumer help, quality control of frames, and just kind of some kind of backing than I do with any other brand because of the fact that there's not really a retailer there. So people who bought online are going to complain online. So this really does boil down to the fact of, again, is this bike as good as it seems it is, or is just the price too good to be true? Or not too good to be true, but is the price just plays such a big factor that people really only care about price and don't really care about wind tunnel marketing and all that stuff like that. So the point I'm trying to make is that me and my buddy talk about this all the time. Everyone who buys a bicycle that's $6,000, $5,000, $14,000, you ask them how they like their bicycle, they usually tell them, you hear it, it's the best bicycle ever. It's the fastest bike I ever rode. I'm so happy with my purchase. Because of the fact that they just spent 6 to 10 grand of their own money and they don't want to seem like they got played. So we always ask them the reverse question: what do you not like about it? And whenever we search up every other brand, we usually hear the worst things about Canyon compared to every other brand. If you hear other brands that like the big name brands, Pinarello, Scott, Trek, whatever they are, whenever they have issues, they usually get taken care of by retailers or a nice warranty support. But on the other hand, I hear a lot of lack of support, lack of contact, and overall just bad quality control when they get the frames. Now, there are great cases there as well. That's always going to be the case. But I hear more instances with the brand Canyon than any other brand. So here's a couple of their frames. You have their brand new Grail that they just released. A great looking gravel bike, but spec for just a top tier component that's $9 grand. You won't see this in the bike shop for $9 grand. You'll see a bicycle spec with similar components on here for 12 to 13 grand. But there's nothing that really sticks out about this bicycle. It looks very similar to some of the even allegedly, I don't even know how to protect myself with this, but it just looks like a China build bike. It looks like very similar to like a Yolio bike. Nothing crazy there. The things that I get roasted on whenever I show a China bike were like, look at the separation from there. Look at the separation from there. Same with this endurance bike here. Look at the separation from the wheel behind the rear stay. I mean, the bicycles themselves, they're doing a good job. They're hitting the consumer mark at basically price points, and they're also hitting consumer mark at the weights and what they want and what they're looking for. But literally, they're just giving away group sets with decently sized bikes. And again, that's where the marketing comes into play. You got guys like Matthew Vanderpool literally winning men's UCI World Championships on these bicycles, which I think he can win. I think he can win that race in a damn Walmart bike. I think Canyon literally killed it with their business model idea of just market the crap out of it, buy cheap frame, mass produce them, and then sell them and spec them with group set prices on there. But yeah, let me know. I'm very curious this. I'm sure I'm going to get yelled at. I'm sure I'm going to get killed. This is just my honest opinion on it, because every single time I go there and I see one of my buddies in the group ride that has a Canyon, or a consumer that has a Canyon as well, and they're like, oh, I got this bicycle for $8,000. It's such a steal of a deal. I get it. I really do. But are people just buying them obviously for just price point? Or is it really they're going after the Aero because they like the design and the look of it? Let me know in the comment section. Now, in terms of what they do really good, which I'll give my honest opinion, like I said, they do a really good job of innovating stuff. And they do a really good job of making sure that consumers don't need to go to a bike shop. The whole lower your stack of your headset spacers with a simple tool. Again, people are kind of concerned about that with the quill style of it, but it makes it super easy for the consumer to do at home. Same with the handlebar. How you can adjust the width of it at home with just literally 4 screws, and it's very simple to move it in or out. That's crazy. You don't have to pay extra money for that. You're getting 3 bars for the price of 1. You can change it out and figure out your fit as well. Very cool stuff there. But again, sending out creaky C-posts, sending out handlebars that fail over time. This is the kind of the problem when you rush out with a direct consumer design. Same with the new Grail. This looks like a badass bike. They did a really good job with the storage system inside of there as well. The top tube, they gave consumers what they want. They want storage for long distance rides, and they gave them a very lightweight gravel bike that competes and can race. They had gravel winners of it that race on this bike, and for the endurance as well. This bicycle is very popular to me because of the fact that it's literally hits the nail on the head in terms of lightweight endurance style bike. People want to be comfortable. The older gents want to be comfortable while riding, but they also want something that looks fast, looks sleek, and lightweight. So they are pushing the boundaries of it, but is it really the performance they're seeking of it, or is just people like, I need a new bike, let me start at the cheapest price point I can see, and then just people be like, oh, this one has Dura-Ace, this one has a Tiger, obviously I'm gonna get the Dura-Ace bike. Let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think, or am I just being a whiny little bitch? Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you guys next video.